Hey there, Ride the Car Guy here, and today let's get the rest of the VK hooked up to the Xterra. This video is part of a series. This is video, I think, number 11. So if you want to go catch up on the other 10 videos, go ahead and check the upper right-hand corner of your screen where you're going to see the vkswap playlist. Now we're at the point in the series where I would just love to say, all right, just reverse all the steps and hook everything back up, but that doesn't really apply in this case, right? That's true with a lot of things on this job. You just hook things back up and then tighten them back down to the torque spec, but there are some things we need to adapt. So this is how today's video is going to work. For stuff where you may just need to quickly observe it or just get the torque spec, I'm gonna make like a parts install montage. I did this back when I rebuilt the VK56 and you guys liked it, so I'm gonna try it again. For anything that we need to adapt, for instance, the rear heater hoses probably need to be cut, the front radiator hose needs to be cut, anything that's basically non-standard, I will talk through. This morning, before we got started, I did replace the other heater hose outlet that we broke in the last video. Luckily, that's just 30 bucks at the dealership, actually. So I just drove to my local Nissan dealership, picked it up, and installed it. The old one was literally crumbling into pieces when I took it off, so maybe a blessing in disguise. I'm kind of glad that it broke and we had it replaced. But let's not waste any more time. Let's jump into it. 8 balls up on, I actually decided to put it on jack stands all the way around just to make underneath a little bit roomier, I guess. And since we dropped the diff to do the engine install and to do the steering rack, we have to go do all the front end suspension work anyways. Let's start with the differential, put that back in, put in all of the drive shafts and propeller shafts, get all of that done, and then we'll start working on the engine. Let's kick it. I'm super excited. All right. Looks like we're making a custom exhaust. So the flanges basically need to get pushed back so the little Y pipe can move forward and actually clear the gas tank. And honestly, I've kind of been looking for an excuse to buy a welder and try my hand at welding, so maybe this is the excuse. That's gonna be in a follow-up video. Let's get the shifter linkage taken care of underneath, and then we can just be done underneath the Xterra for a while. All right, little break from the montage here. This is getting so annoying getting the wrong parts. So bought this from Rock Auto. They said it would fit on the 2006 Xterra. It clearly doesn't. It doesn't even make it to the actual taper. It just hits the threads and that's it. My plan was make this as straight as possible just visually, put this in, put it down to torque, of course, and then once everything was done, you'd go get an alignment. But if you need to see that video, I do have a video on the tie rod ends on an Xterra, so check the upper right-hand corner of the screen for that. But at this point, just put everything back down to these specs. And once you've done all of that, you can throw your tire back on, move to the other side, and finish that. But I think it's high time that we move to the engine, so let's go do that. All right, in the engine bay, I want to start by focusing on electronics, and I want to start by talking about the IPDMs. So you'll notice here, we have two IPDMs. They look a little bit different in the way they're configured, but they're really the same thing, except one kind of crucial point is that these white ones are actually prone to failure. So I'm sure you've read online in the forums or on the subreddit of people having IPDM issues. It's mostly going to be these white boxes. So if you're doing this job and you see that you have a white IPDM, now is the time to just swap it out since you're messing around with all of this anyways. These are the ones you're looking for. They're basically just the black box, nothing crazy about them. They operate the same way, but apparently these are prone to failure, these are not. Not to say this will never fail, but apparently these have a reputation. So we're gonna install this black one. And of course, if you need one of these, you'll never guess who can get you one, right? Duncan from Nissan Parts Polar. So his information will be down in the description below if you find that you have a white IPDM and you want a black one. As far as the connections, they're all gonna be unique. So in this box here, you have a whole bunch, not even counting the stuff from the engine that we're gonna talk about in a minute. But in here, all these are gonna be unique. So you can plug them in first. It might be a little bit easier. Just plug them in first and then slide the box in. Nothing crazy here. This is all original wiring, guys. We didn't touch any of this. And there we go. So now that's all plugged in. And then there's gonna be little slots that they slide into and snap in. And that's it. Simple as that. And next up, let's tackle our ECM. And then we'll throw the rest of the wiring into the IPDM box. All right, I appear to have lost the Titan ECM, so that super sucks. Okay, well, give me a couple minutes. All right, I found it. I had it mixed up with the one from the Xterra, so kind of glad I didn't sell it yet. I just put a little T on it to designate it, and we're just gonna slide it back in place. You really just install it the opposite way you took it out. You have your two bolts. We're gonna somehow get it in here to start the threads, and then we just tighten it down. Nothing special. You can kind of see where they were installed just by the little rings around the mounts there. So I'm gonna try to do one of these. That actually appears like it's gonna work. Wow. Is that working? Holy lordy. Okay, cool. Well, I got it started. No way you're gonna see that. I basically just had it, like I said, I floated it in there, and then I sort of just a little fingertip blind mating, you know how that is. So get that all the way down, and I'm gonna throw the top one in just so it sets it in place. There we go. And then tighten them down, that's it. Okay, finally tightened down. Boy, is that tedious, but we got it. Now we have our SMJ from our body harness, right? Or engine room harness. I don't know which one, probably engine room. And we're gonna cut that off. I just had a little zip tie on there. I wanted to make sure it was protected. Now for this, make sure it's all clean. And also make sure that your flap, the little flap on this thing is all the way up at the top. Hopefully you can see that there, right there. And then when you insert it, it should kind of guide itself in. There we go. Once it hits that orange, you start using the lever. And you'll see it grabs it in, kind of pushes it down in there. So now we're ready to rock. Now what I would like to do is a couple things. And it actually looks like on this harness here, there is a like a little retainer clip that goes on the bottom, because what we're gonna have to do is a lot more wire management in here. So I'm actually gonna slide the IPDM back out real quick. And this guy, hopefully you can see that. This guy has this little clip here, and it snaps in right here. So probably behind, yeah. There we go. And now if we go push this in, there we go. So that tucks that kind of out of the way there. And next up we have these three connectors. Now these are the ones that we had to rewire. And like I said in the previous video, I was gonna make jumper harnesses, and that's exactly what I did. So in here, you're gonna see that these three are gonna plug directly into the connectors in the IPDM box. And then over here are the original connectors coming out of the Titan engine harness. So traditionally, this gets pulled up. Let me get all this stuff out of the way here. And then everything gets brought in here. And these were obviously originally going to plug in the Titan. But now we have all this extra length here. This is my jumper. And a quick reminder, there will be a video on this, guys. I promised you I would figure it out and help you out, and I did. So there will be a video, but I'm not going to release it until this is all over and I know that this is actually right. So I did send my work over to Brennan. He says it looks pretty good, but he's actually not here with me, right? So he can't be for sure. But we're gonna test it, make sure it works, and then I'll release the video. But regardless, let's pull this up There we go. And let's try to get the harness. I'm trying to remember how it was. It looks like it goes underneath all of this. Grab all of this hot ass mess. And this is supposed to sit all the way up in here like that. Yikes, that is so much wire. Wow. Okay, so here's what we'll have to do. To make more room in this box, I'm gonna pull out these 3 connectors from their places because there's a bunch of space underneath. So if I lift up on these or do something, what can I do? Yeah, it looks like I have to jam something in there to pull them out. Yep, there we go. There's 1. Slide that in there. 2, and then get this little guy out. Awesome. So now that those are just loose in there, we're gonna be able to hook up to them and kind of tuck stuff away, hopefully, right? Well, I can't find the sort of loom retainer, so I'm just gonna run some zip ties through it real quick because I want it positioned where it needs to be so I don't screw everything up, because later on, if it's not in the right position, it's gonna be real annoying trying to get it back to the way it needs to be. So just do that. There we go, and then I'll deal with that later. But for now, it's where it needs to sit. This piece that goes into the IPDM box goes under this. So this is flipped back, flip this over. There we go. And I completely forgot about that. Oh. So this is the piece that I made from the generator sub-harness that needs to get integrated. And it makes me feel like I need to pull it out and put it into the engine bay. So stand by. All right, I stripped the loom back so there's only wires going through this. And then I'll fix the loom once we're done. So let's get this all in here. Pull these up. Tuck this guy in here. There we go. There's a little black connector. It goes nowhere. Try to tuck that underneath and get it just out of the way. And I find it kind of unlikely, but let's see if we can get this thing shut on it. Here. Okay, well, I mean, I'm gonna call that close enough. I mean, that's as good as we're gonna get. I'm gonna get the loom all the way up to here as close as I can and cut it off to clean that up. But now all of our wiring is technically inside the box. So now we have to fit all of this in here somehow. For our starter line, that can kind of get shoved down like that. There we go. Do a little loop-de-loop. I could probably cut some wire off of that if I needed to. And then in here, I'm gonna try to do this. I'm gonna try to run it like this and then sort of flip it over. See how that goes. I'm realizing now that I made these way too long, but I'm gonna get this one connected. This is F14, get that guy in there. Okay, F33 is that little guy that's over here. And then this big guy here is this one. Okay, my God, that looks like a terrible rat nest. And I would know I've been dealing with a lot of rat nests lately. It looks like though there's still a lot of space down below, so I'm gonna gently kind of massage these down and try to get them to tuck in. Oh, okay. Hold on, not so bad. What if I get this one down here? Oh, okay. This is not horrible. No way. Did I just make all that work? Hurry up, where's my cover? Oh my gosh. Hey, it's in there. Hot damn. And down below, other than these 3, and I haven't cleaned this up yet, but that's gonna look more like that. That'll be cut off. And that's actually, it's actually not terrible. Let's snip this off because it's annoying me here. There we go. Slide that underneath. Not so bad, huh? And then this guy comes over, I think, and plugs in underneath. Yeah, it does. But I think it might be under this. Oh God, I don't remember. I think it's under this, yeah, because this goes to the battery. Next up, we'll secure the IPDM box in place. Then we'll get this guy down here, which I think, yes, this runs in between this, I believe. It runs right here, like that. Yep. All right, one of the benefits of recording everything that you do is that you get to see what you did. And so it looks like this does run here. It's your main engine harness connection. And there's a little clip on it right there. And that clips to this hole. So we'll clip that in. There we go. And then it looks like this does in fact run underneath. And then here we have an important body ground. So this one here is a body ground. That's on your generator or alternator sub-harness. So that needs to get connected down here. I'm gonna mount this box now to get that back in place. And that goes, you have one bolt there and one here. See if we can get that one to thread. Nice. We should be good to hook up our main engine harness. So make sure you have some little bit of, there we go, I'm gonna pull that in there. And then it's the same as before. Just push it in until it hits the orange. Lift your connector up, snaps in place, you're done. Right here is gonna be where we put our body ground in. Try to figure out where it's going here. All right, that's in. This guy can be snapped back up here. We have another connection, yeah, right here, coming out of the alternator harness. That's gonna be your oil pressure sensor, your alternator, and your starter. Snap that back in. And then I think this was battery current sensor. We don't use this anymore. And I think the rest of it, yeah, these two just go to this terminal, which, should we deal with that now? Maybe we deal with that now. For these, you're gonna see they're shaped a certain way. This has this weird little notch on it, and it's at like a 90-degree angle. This one, this has got like 245s in it, and doesn't have that notch. So this one is our starter cable, okay? This one has to go on the main post. Brendan wanted me to make this very clear because this can really mess you up on your fusible link. So this actually comes underneath and it connects under here. This one twists around and we connect it right there. And you'll see it even has that little piece that fits right in. So somehow this has got to come underneath here. Let me do that. And then try to, I guess we can kind of really get it in there. And this guy will just slap on afterwards. All right, this guy here, grab it. And we're gonna try to get this underneath here and sort of maybe through these things. I don't know. Oh, that actually works. All right, I just put them through here like this. And then I gotta fix this in the future. Right now, this is not, this is just not working for me right now. But in fact, I don't even think this doesn't even fit through. Okay, all right. Well, let me go see if I can rob one off of another vehicle. 1 second. Well, heck yeah, my white Titan is turning into the white Knight over here. Terminal was still on there, and it fits just fine. So we're gonna grab this guy, slide it through. There we go. Sits nice and tight in there, and get it down. Awesome. This one comes up here, gets thrown on this one, like, well, probably over here, if we're being honest, right? Like that, maybe? Yeah, there we go. And then this gets thrown back on. There we go. Wiring is sorted. There is one more body ground down here. Before I forget, this is the one that's in like the wheel well of the Titan. So I'm gonna go down, see if there's a bolt in there that I can just throw it on. If not, we'll find something. There appears to be a random little bolt right there, and that's just like a 10 millimeter, and that's where I'm gonna grab that harness, or excuse me, that body ground, and just bring that up there. It's certainly no worse than having it in the wheel well like it was in the Titan, right? Oh, it's holding, it's holding a bracket in that actually we're not gonna use anymore because I can't find any of the loom clamps. There's this guy here. You normally snap the loom clamp into that. So there you have it. Grab our little body ground back here. Where is that sucker? There it is. Please fit through. Hell yeah, like it was made to be. Excellent. Now we can move on to more fun stuff. All right, we have it mocked up and it's tight in there. Obviously you're adding 2 additional cylinders in the front, right? So it pushes everything forward. The fan is about that far from the radiator, and you know, you have a couple other things that are a little tight, like this radiator hose and things like that, but I don't think I'm gonna end up cutting that hose. I think we can just make them work as it is. I don't wanna go through cutting the pre-cool hoses. So I think what we're gonna do is finish up this video by getting as far as we can. The cooling, I'm gonna leave as it is right now. I obviously just won't be driving very far or in very hot weather. And then I'm just gonna make like a separate video on how to do, we'll probably do an electric conversion if I'm being honest, or buy another shroud. I'm not sure yet, but we'll figure it out. Okay, wow, that was a lot of work. A couple quick things I want to mention. I clearly made some mistakes or some miscalculations, and for the power steering, obviously when you saw that go on, that's not the way it's supposed to go on. It's supposed to flip around, and that little post is supposed to sit in between those 2 pieces. I clearly just bought the wrong pressure hose for the rack, so I was thinking in my head, it's an Xterra, the rack's in the Xterra, but you actually need the Titan line that goes from the pump down to the rack. I made it work. The clearances are very tight, but there's stock clearances that are pretty damn close to that. So I'm gonna let that ride and hope that it works. And you saw me modify one of those pre-cool hoses. That's because I have the VK56 set and I don't have the actual VK56 to VQ40 set. So you shouldn't have to modify your hoses if you do buy that particular kit. I just had to because I was reusing a lot of hoses. Other than that, we're in pretty great shape. We have to tidy up the AC. I have to finish the intake and the power steering pump sensor we need to throw in. But other than that, we're just about ready to go. So in the next video, we're gonna wrap up the little things that are outstanding, and then we're gonna fill up fluids and we're gonna try to start this thing. So if you're not subscribed, scroll down, click subscribe, and click that bell so you know when the next video comes out. Spoiler alert, it's next Friday at 6. Like I said, there is gonna be some follow-up videos because this cooling is not going to work for very long. We're gonna have to convert that to electric or do something different with it. And we need to finish up exhaust, and I'm gonna be doing a whole bunch of stuff to it after it's actually running and driving. If you like this video, please scroll down, click that like button. Support the brands that support me. If you scroll down in the description, you'll see links to Nissan Parts Puller, Off-Road Gorilla, and Driven Desire. Thanks so much for watching this probably monstrous video. Till next time.